This is not your normal rivalry.
Bullseye! Razzle dazzle! Bring in the house down!
Both these teams left it all on the floor.
The Sweet 16 has arrived.
Almost ready to go at Lucas Oil Stadium. And before we tip it up, we send it over to the third member of our team, Evan Washburn.
Hey, Andrew, that was the perfect primer for round 3 of this great rivalry. And it begs the question, what are the first 2 meetings when it comes to the third meeting here in the Sweet 16? Well, if you talk to both head coaches, it was like they were reading from the same script, saying those 2 games were about a month and a half ago, but for the teams, it feels like years ago. This game stands alone because of this stage and what's at stake. When you talk to the players, though, especially from Tennessee after losing the first 2, they have a different tune. They said it's unique, it's special. They don't want to just get a win over Kentucky. They want to make a statement, guys.
You can feel the intensity of the rivalry in the building as we take a look at the starting lineups, Evan. And for Kentucky, Kobe Brea coming off a career-high 23 against Illinois in the second round. And for Tennessee, they have used this same starting 5 for all but 1 game, led by that man, Zakai Ziegler. The 242nd meeting between Kentucky and Tennessee. But for the first time, they'll face each other on the NCAA tournament stage. Literally a stage. We're in an end zone here at Lucas Oil Stadium. The home of the Colts is cut in half, and it is loud. Doug Shows, Brian Dorsey, Lamar Simpson are officials, and we're underway with Tennessee controlling the opening tip.
And Kentucky mostly man-to-man. They may throw a zone out there a little bit. Tennessee, I'll tell you what, if they go zone at all, I'm going to go examine Rick Barnes.
Barnes now in his 10th year with the Volunteers. Jemai Mashack on the attack, sends it back out. Chaz Lanier 3, no good. Long rebound tracked down by Lamont Butler.
And one thing about Kentucky, too, they want a fast tempo. 26th in the nation, according to Ken Pom. Kentucky, number 27. They want to push the ball. Tennessee, 350.
What a feed by Amari Williams, but Brea misses the lay-in. Tennessee advancing after first-round wins against Wofford and then second round against UCLA. Igor Milicic a 3. That won't go, and the rebound to Kentucky.
Well, so far, Jemai Mashack has been able to get in the lane twice and set up 2 really good three-point shots. Didn't knock down either one. And one thing we got to see, Amari Williams and Andrew Carr, 2 big guys for Kentucky, both really good passes. Amari Williams is an unbelievable passer.
Left-hand shot by Williams, well short out of bounds. You already saw a great pass by Williams, but Brea missed, and we have no score. Almost a minute and a half in.
He already has the most assists for a 7-footer in Kentucky history in one season.
Ziegler and Butler, a great matchup today to keep an eye on at the point. Good pass here, Lanier, way off the mark. Milicic scoops it up and he's fouled.
And you know, one of the reasons why Kentucky won both those games was because Lanier was 3 for 19 from the three-point line in those 2 games. So he's got to have a good game for Tennessee. It's one of the best shooters in the country. He's got to get it going.
You know, we asked both teams, and we were at the practices all day yesterday, would it be an adjustment to play in a football stadium? The backdrop, we've seen a cold shooting start. What do you make of playing in a stadium?
Well, I don't know if the shooting we've had in the first minute and 43 seconds, a little early to say, but it hasn't been real good so far.
You can watch live men's games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Download now. Milicic makes a pair of free throws, and here comes the Tennessee pressure.
They are one of the best steal teams in the SEC. They try to turn you over because that helps to get them out in transition. Half court, they're going to take their time.
Here goes Lamont Butler. Ziegler, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, will try to lock him up tonight. Brea will shoot from the outside. It's good for Kobe Brea.
This guy here is one of the best three-point shooters in the country, and he's not just, as you saw, a catch-and-shoot guy. This guy can do it off the bounce a little bit, too.
His 93rd three-pointer of the year. Transfer from Dayton. Lanier will try to answer well short. Akpara makes the catch. Meshack comes away with it, missed it. A scramble. Akpara gets it back, goes right up and in for Felix Akpara.
Well, they are one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. That's what they thrive on, is getting it up on the glass and going and getting it. You know, one thing, Andrew, that happened in these two games, Kentucky shot 50% in both games. It's the only two games this year that Tennessee gave up 50% from the field. Unbelievable.
And Carr is fouled inside by Milicic.
Amari Williams with the ball on top. Well, Milicic fell down. Carr probably could have made that if he stayed on the other side of the basket.
So Andrew Carr will go to the free throw line. Started at Delaware, transferred to Wake Forest for the last 2 years, and now in his first season at Kentucky. Coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship Sweet 16 continues tomorrow at 1 p.m. on ABC. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. And the Tennessee women will be playing in the Sweet 16, a banner year for both basketball programs.
You know, you have to think tonight, Andrew, that Tennessee, I know Rick Barnes told these guys, do you understand? Only 2 games all year do we give up 50%. They give up 50% from field goal percentage and 50% from 3 in both those games. He's looking for their pride defensively to show up.
The Tennessee, on average, defensively gives up 38% from the floor. That's best in the country. Counted and won with a flex for Ziegler.
Yeah, this is what Zakai Ziegler does. Now, he can make a 3, there's no doubt. But he is tough going to the basket, strong, and is able to finish with contact.
Foul goes on Lamont Butler, and Zakai Ziegler, the senior from Long Island, New York, a chance to finish off a three-point play, and he does. A long list of accolades for Ziegler this year. 3rd-team All-American. Told you he was SEC Defensive Player of the Year. 1st-team All-SEC. A finalist for the Cousy Award and the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year Award. Carr misses the 3. Lanier the rebound.
Well, Lamont Butler, I thought, had a layup there he should have gone up with. He found Carr in the corner. Didn't knock out the 3.
Ziegler on the attack again, sends it to the corner to Lanier. Shot clock at 6 for Ziegler. A step back 3 is blocked by Owe, and Meshack knocks it out of bounds.
Really good defense on the switch by Owe. He didn't just switch, but he aggressively switched so that he could not get a shot off. This is a good job by Owe, using his size there to block that shot by Ziegler.
Tennessee is 0 of 4 from deep to begin this game, and substitutions for Rick Barnes and for Mark Pope. Colin Chandler on the floor for Kentucky, and Cade Phillips checks in for Tennessee alongside Jordan Gainey.
And Tennessee is a capable three-point shooting team. They make 8.5 a game and shoot it at 35%, so they can make them.
Brandon Garrison is also checked in for the Wildcats. They will go 10 deep tonight. Owe locked up inside, and a travel is called. Brings us to our first timeout. A cold shooting start, but the intensity is high in Indy. Now it's time for It Takes More, presented by Powerade. These teams, as we told you, met twice during the regular season. Wildcats won them both thanks to their three-point shooting. They went 12 of 24 in both meetings compared to the Vols, who shot just 22% from behind the arc.
Yeah, I mean, what they did from the three-point line against a team that is, you know, number 3 in the nation in holding people from 3. Mark Pope has a very free-flowing offense. How about he brought in 9 guys this year? Top 9 scorers are all transfers on this team. Only one of 8 schools in the country to be able to say that. And he's put it all together, and these guys on the offensive end have been a machine all year.
Only team in the last 20 years to make the Sweet 16 and have 0 points returning from the season prior.
I know Rick Barnes for a long, long time. We coached in the Big East together. I'm telling you, he was salty to see them go 12 for 24 twice against them.
Gainey, a good three-point shooter, and Brea's right out on him with the shot clock down to 7. Gainey trying to dribble in now. Step back jumper, no good. And Chandler corrals the rebound.
But you see how long Tennessee takes in the half court. They got to get out on Carr
For 3. And the rebound comes to Gainey.
And they are very good, Kentucky, at shooting those transition threes, but it's going to be hard to get them against a team that is so methodical like Tennessee is.
The teams are a combined 3 of 14 as Brea with the block.
Well, you got to say right now, you're going to see Brea here with a good defensive play. Ziegler's being very aggressive, looking to drive, and they have been getting into the lane pretty regularly, Tennessee. Kentucky played good defense against Tennessee in those 2 games. They got to keep them out of the lane.
Lanier comes out, Meshack returns, and Ansley Almanor enters for Kentucky, the transfer from FDU. Ziegler, corner 3, buries it.
He has improved so much over the years.
Peyton Manning in the house that he built with the Colts, and of course the Tennessee legend in attendance here tonight. Butler spinning in the lane with the right hand, no, and Meshack the rebound.
I'll tell you, Meshack is one tough defender. He's on the Naismith list, last 4 guys for Naismith Defensive Player of the Year.
Milicic, baseline, out to Ziegler, extra pass, Gainey for 3. That one won't go, but an offensive rebound by Phillips. So far, Tennessee +6 on the glass against Kentucky. That pass deflected, Garrison could not grab it. Shot clock does not reset at 5. Milicic travels. And the first Tennessee turnover of the night. Now, we were at Tennessee practice yesterday, and Igor Milicic got a mouthful from Rick Barnes for the entire 90 minutes.
That was old school. I kind of enjoyed it, I got to be honest with you. That was some old school ripping.
See if Milicic responds. He played great in the first 2 games against Kentucky. 19-9 the first time out, 16-9 in the second meeting, and a foul as Breo is trying to cut to the basket.
Yeah, Tennessee aggressively switching there. As a guy Ziegler, a little bit too much body on Kobe Brea. And one thing about Tennessee, they're one of the best in the SEC at not fouling. They play this really good defense and only foul about 15 times a game.
Kentucky has gone 4 minutes without a field goal.
And that's a team that averages 85 a game. Top 10 in the nation.
Brea working on Ziegler. Good defense by Ziegler with the shot clock down to 4. Butler will put up a 3 and hits it.
You know, we watched him play a lot as a freshman. Andrew, you remember from San Diego State.
I remember.
He couldn't do that. Now he's become at least a serviceable 3-point shooter.
Career high for him this year, 35% from deep. Gainey, his 3 is good. Averages 11 points per game off the bench.
Now they switch the pick and roll too. Gainey doing a great job inside on Garrison in there.
Good defense by Milicic. Brea, deep 3. And Milicic had the rebound and goes back to get it. Ziegler is fouled going to the basket. Well, be prepared for history to be written in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. NHL on TNT playoff coverage begins April 19th on TNT, TBS, and Max. Foul was on Brandon Garrison. That's his first foul, sending Ziegler to the line.
Ziegler very aggressive, trying to go to the basket. I mean, at his size, he has shot 168 free throws before that one this season.
Substitutions on both sides. 242nd meeting between the two. Kentucky has won 3 straight and 5 of the last 6. And Peyton Manning approves the score as Tennessee goes up a touchdown with 12:27 to go in the first.
And now Rick Barnes trying to get Ziegler a little bit of a blow, which doesn't happen very often.
Averages a team high 34 minutes per game. Tennessee riding a 10-3 run right now. Meshack with the steal. And Butler commits the foul.
He jumped into that passing lane. That was a combination of anticipation and quickness. What an athlete Meshack is. He's going to jump in there quick with that left hand on the outside, which is perfect defensive position to deny Butler the ball, and gets fouled.
And not a great foul by Butler. That's his second with 12:13 to go. So Lamont Butler, you'd think, would come out of the game, but Mark Pope is going to keep him in there.
Very surprising. He really does need to come out, because if he catches his third, he's going to be out for a long time. I would take him out for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, let him settle down, know that he has 2 fouls, and then maybe bring him back in. I would take him out right now, though.
Dubar for 3 is good. Just a 25% three-point shooter.
You know, but he was a really good three-point shooter at Hofstra. This year he couldn't make them. Makes a big one there.
Hey, hit 39% for Hofstra last year. Nice cut and finish. Williams to Butler. Mark Pope rolling the dice with keeping Butler out there. That was Kentucky's first 2-point field goal of the game.
I'm guessing if Zakai Ziegler comes in, he's not going to be guarding Ziegler.
Lanier. That 3 won't go. What a rebound by Okpara. Amari Williams was right there, and Okpara ripped it away. Kentucky getting crushed on the glass.
By Meshack again.
And a steal. Meshack running the break.
What great help on the inside that was by Meshack.
Tennessee out-rebounding Kentucky 12-4, and second chance points 9-0 in favor of the Volunteers. Gainey, jumper not there. Williams this time able to secure the rebound. Butler will send it out to Owe.
He couldn't get a clean catch there.
Williams with the tip in. Amari Williams, 7 feet, 262 from England, a transfer from Drexel.
He was the CAA Defensive Player of the Year 3 times while he was at Drexel. Great hands there.
Action starting to pick up a little bit after a slow start between these two teams. Lanier trying to split the defense, puts up a jumper and knocks it down.
I mean, I'm amazed that this kid came from North Florida. He averaged 4 points his freshman year, 4 points his sophomore year, then 17, and now doing this, 18 points a game in the SEC second team All-League.
Williams trying to muscle his way down low. He does. Amari Williams with 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit too easy. Okpara let him get a little too close to the basket there. I mean, he's 7 feet tall.
9:50 to go, first half. Owe got a hand in there for the steal. Lanier trying to get back. Owe, and it spins out, but he will shoot 2.
Well, Tennessee, they've got it rolling on the offensive end right now, making a lot happen. Jordan Gainey there from 3. Volunteers up 8.
Back in Indianapolis, witness why AEW is the future of the fight. Don't miss the explosive action of All Elite Wrestling's Wednesday Night Dynamite, live at 8 on TBS and now streaming on Max. A moment ago, Evan Washburn with Rick Barnes.
Coach, Kentucky started to warm up there a little bit. What do you need to continue to do defensively to hold them in check?
Well, right there, take care of the basketball. Those are the plays you can't give. Just took the ball away from us. Got to be tougher with the ball there. For the most part, I think we've stuck to what we wanted to do on the defensive end down here. But, again, we just got to do a better job down there.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, they have 2 turnovers in 11 minutes. You know what that tells you? Don't ever interview a coach after a turnover because that's what he's going to focus in on. It doesn't matter about what else is going. He can have 1 turnover in the second half. If you get him after that turnover, he's going to talk about that turnover.
Did you do live in-game interviews?
No, I didn't. There was,
that would have been.
That was a prehistoric time.
That would have been a special sight. I would have loved that. Evan, what would your question be for Coach Lapp after a turnover?
Why do they keep turning it over, Coach?
And then I'd look at him like, what is he talking about? Evan's the best.
To Rick Barnes' point, Kentucky started 1 of 6. Since then, they're 4 for their last 6. Starting to pick it up a little bit on the offensive end. And now Mark Pope has taken Lamont Butler off the floor with the 2 fouls.
Yeah, I mean, with Ziegler in the game, they could have put somebody else on him, but you just didn't want him in the game with this kid. The way he gets in the lane, he makes too many things happen. Now Brea is guarding Ziegler.
Ziegler, lob, Akpara with the flush. Felix going up high, all 6'11" of them, and it's 23-15 in favor of the Volunteers. Akpara is 3 for 3 from the floor. 9 minutes to go, first half. Owe on the attack in the paint, rejected. Akpara got a hand in it. Ziegler up ahead. Lanier, yes, and the foul.
You take a look here, Ziegler comes off, and Amari Williams kind of in no man's land. He's running drop coverage, but he doesn't play Ziegler, and he doesn't drop, and they give up the alley-oop there. If he's going to drop, he needs to drop back.
And then you see the block by Akpara. He averages a team-high 1.7 blocks per game. And Mark Pope sees his team fall behind by 11 after the foul committed by Trent Noah.
And Rick Barnes talked a lot yesterday about how to attack that drop coverage that Amari Williams does, and that was a picture-perfect one.
And a sloppy turnover there. Owe and Williams not on the same page.
The one thing, Kentucky has a lot. They've got good depth, but they do not have a backup point guard. Owe is just playing that spot because out of necessity right now, that's where they're hurting. That's why they were hurt when Butler was hurt during the season.
Butler with that left shoulder injury. He missed 9 games this year. Now has a brace on the left shoulder. Lanier is fouled. Stream CBS Sports HQ, your free 24/7 snapshot of all sports that matter to you. Catch highlights, in-depth analysis, and breaking news anywhere you are. Download the CBS Sports app to watch today. Foul was on Owe. That's his first. That's already the 6th team foul against the Wildcats, so the Vols are shooting the rest of the half.
Yeah, they make 15 free throws a game, and they are obviously making a point of driving the ball in this first half.
Noah out, Chandler in for Mark Pope and Kentucky, who have won 5 of their last 6 games, entering this one tonight at Lucas Oil Stadium. This will be the home to the Final Four next year. Largest lead for Tennessee. Up a dozen on Kentucky as they play for a spot in the Elite 8 against either Houston or Purdue. That's the nightcap here in Indy.
Kentucky's got to get the ball moving from side to side a little bit. That's a good move by Williams.
And he throws it down.
I know Rick Barnes, he's got a sub getting up ready. I kind of thought that was coming.
You and Rick Barnes see a lot of things the same way.
Old school.
And Chandler commits the foul, and that's number 7. It'll send Ziegler to the free throw line when we come back. A good start here in Indianapolis for Tennessee. They lead Kentucky by 10 in the Sweet 16. We are back with a look at our game summary. Already 9 second chance points for Tennessee. And a short time ago, Evan caught up with Mark Pope.
Coach, what needs to happen first to cut into this 10-point lead?
Well, we got to shore up the defensive glass a little bit, and then we got to fight through to get some movement. Their pressure's done a nice job getting us a little stagnant. Our guys will open this game up. We'll get a little more movement.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this Tennessee defense has been really, really good, but their offense making a couple of threes makes a huge difference in this game for them because you know they're going to do it on the other end. Great screen there by Phillips. Knock out another 3, but right now, Mark Pope needs to get more movement going on the weak side. He talked a lot about that yesterday. When you play Tennessee, you've got to get the whole court moving because when these guys are in one spot and load up on you, very, very tough to get to the basket.
3rd straight Sweet 16 for Rick Barnes in Tennessee. First time in school history they've accomplished that. And with Kentucky committing its 7th foul, it's a 1-and-1 for Ziegler. 81% on the year. And Ziegler with 1, or make it 2 now, assists tonight. He has set the single season SEC record with 262 assists this year. Makes both free throws. And some full court pressure from Tennessee.
Yeah, right now they need a possession here, Kentucky, where that ball goes side to side and they start moving this defense around a little bit.
Kentucky's relied on Amari Williams on this side of the floor. He's 3 for 4. The rest of the team is 3 for 10 as Brea loses his sneaker. Brea with 1 shoe and a foul with 9 on the shot clock, and that bailed out Kentucky.
And the sneaker was right in the middle of the pileup. That always drives me nuts. I don't know, when I was playing, I never saw sneakers fall off. I wonder, do these kids tie them?
It looks to be tied.
It looks to be tied. That came off a little too easy for me, I'm sorry.
Good job by Gainey to move the sneaker out of the way. The foul on Tennessee was against Milicic, and that's his 2nd. And so Milicic will go to the bench. You have to hop down to the bench here, Lucas Oil.
And interesting right now, Rick Barnes going with a pretty small team. Kate Phillips, really the only big guy.
And a foul against Tennessee. And interestingly, Lamont Butler is back out there with Ziegler on the floor. Phillips commits his first.
I think it's a good idea to bring him in for a couple of minutes, get a couple of minutes out of him so that he feels like he's played in this game in the first half. But I think you get him out with probably 4 to go.
It's Oweh to inbound for Kentucky, trying to get it to Carr, and he does.
They need to get it to Williams.
He's got it here, trying to get to the basket. He is fouled. So Amari Williams will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, that was a mismatch with Dubar, who's 6'6", guarding Amari Williams at 7 feet. Like I said, Rick Barnes deciding to go small here.
So Amari Williams from Nottingham, England, 4 years at Drexel. Actually came to the United States during the COVID pandemic. It was very hard on him to make that adjustment. Now in his first year at Kentucky. And Evan, he's got a very special breakfast on game days.
He does. I've got a bowl of it here, guys. It's a special British green cereal that is now famous because he hadn't had it in the States up until the morning prior to the Illinois game. The staff was a bit concerned with the amount of nutrients, if you will, that he was getting before games. So they asked him, what do you eat back home? And he said this specific cereal. So they went to an international grocery store, got him that, and now it's all the rage in Big Blue Nation. And guys, I'm going to try it right now and see how it goes.
You sound hesitant, Evan. Gainey misses inside. Washburn takes a bite, but the follow is there. Evan, what's the verdict?
Pretty good, guys. Pretty good. I feel like I'm stronger for the second half.
So it works for Williams, and it might work for Washburn as well. Amari has 7 of the last 9 Kentucky points.
Boy, there is really no flow to Kentucky in the half court so far.
Butler for 3. Off the side of the rim, out of bounds. Last touch by Tennessee. Let's go to the replay lab. Get your telestrator out. Look at Evan.
That's a big spoon he's got. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that right there.
Good job. A little milk.
Yeah, it really soaks up the milk. That was a full bowl about a minute ago of milk.
I was wondering why you didn't eat much for dinner. You were saving it up for the grain cereal. 6.5 to go in the first.
I'll tell you, Tennessee, they're all over these guys in the half court. Oh,
Williams again hanging and finishing.
That was a miscommunication there. I'm guessing they were supposed to switch. They both stayed, and Williams went.
So Williams has made the last 4 for Kentucky. The rest of the team 3 for 11. And a rebound here to Butler.
And this is what they want. They got to go.
And Carr is rejected. Dubar and Carr tangled up behind the play after the block. And now here they come. What a rejection by Darlinstone Dubar. Gainey to Dubar. Ziegler will reset. Calling for a screen. Shot clock at 5. Ziegler to Phillips. Counted in the foul!
Yeah, they're not guarding that pick and roll well at all. First of all, it was a tremendous block in transition by Dubar, hustling back on Carr. And then on the other end, they're just not doing a great job with these screens. 2 guys stay on the ball. Amari Williams doesn't come over quick enough to help on that. And 1 and a foul.
Ziegler with 3 assists here in the first half. And now Phillips trying to finish off a 3-point play.
I think what we have a case here is Tennessee's defense has been much better than Kentucky's offense so far in this game.
And so has the Tennessee bench. 10-0 for the Volunteers in that department. This is a Kentucky team that goes 10 deep.
And Opara back in the game.
Brea for 3. Not there, and tipped right to Meshack.
I'm not saying he can't make that, but that's a tough 3.
Kentucky is 2 of 7 from deep in the first.
And they make 9.5 a game. As we talked about in the open, huge part of their arsenal and huge reason why they beat this Tennessee team twice.
Ziegler with the left hand, yes.
He sized up Brea, and he was taking him.
He's already in double figures with 11 points, and Mark Pope calls timeout as the Tennessee fans rise at Lucas Oil. Volunteers up 15 on the Cats.
Coverage of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is sponsored by The Home Depot, the official home improvement partner of March Madness. Nissan, Power Forward, and by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Back here in Indianapolis, and we look at our tournament summary. What a night it was last night. First overtime game of the tournament. We had 4 players score at least 30 yesterday, and all of the top seeds advanced.
In those 4 games, the winners averaged 97 points. That's unbelievable in 4 games. And obviously what Alabama did is the most ridiculous thing I ever saw. 25 made threes, 51 taken. How about this? Only 15 twos taken in the entire game. Craziest stat sheet maybe I've ever seen.
Well, for Kentucky here, Mark Pope calling a timeout. Always jumper out of the timeout, not there. In the last 7 minutes, Williams is 4 for 4 for Kentucky. The rest of the team a combined 0 for 5.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Rick Barnes got these guys fired up to guard that line, and they are doing it.
Gainey hanging and hitting.
Tough shot.
The son of associate head coach Justin Gainey.
The pressure on the ball. I mean, Owe has not been able to even get involved in this game. He averages 16 a game.
Butler's three not there. Phillips the rebound. 19-9 on the glass for Tennessee. Three and a half to go in the first. Amari Williams at the scorer's table for Kentucky. Once again, Tennessee using shot clock. Ziegler's three, too strong, tipped high up in the air. Right back to the shortest player on the court.
They cannot get a rebound. You can't get out in transition if you don't get a rebound.
Shot clock at 10. Meshack. Turnaround jumper is good, and Tennessee can't miss right now.
They're either in the lane making twos, getting in there a lot.
Almanor misses the three. On the putback, Owe not there. Now Garrison has it, blocked. Tennessee is everywhere in the first half. An 8-0 run for the Volunteers in the Sweet 16.
March is like Christmas. March is the best time of the year.
It's something that you never take for granted.
The best basketball memories are made.
This is every kid's dream to come out here and play on the March Madness court.
Dream comes true. It's marching, can change lives.
From cheering to celebrating, fan work is thirsty work. Crack open a refreshing Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? They apparently believe it is. During the timeout, they put 2 seconds back on the game clock and the shot clock. 2 seconds accidentally came off, so 2:50 to go and 17 to shoot. This half, Tennessee has 14 field goals and 2 turnovers. No turnovers in the last 7 minutes.
And they are very good at not turning the ball over, only average 10.5 a game.
That one's taken away, and a Kentucky turnover, their 5th.
And surprising that Butler fell asleep that time. I mean, he's a kid that's been so good, played in the national championship game when he was at San Diego State. Good defense.
Owe, Gainey to the ground. Owe trying to join him. Phillips comes to bail him out. Once again, shot clock winding down for Ziegler. So much poise under pressure. Ziegler had it knocked away by Garrison right to Owe.
The Garrison did a good job staying with Ziegler there.
Owe and runs into Gainey after the foul is called. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Well, first half analysis and an update on Ole Miss against Michigan State. Plus the latest tournament news all coming up on AT&T at the half.
And that's part of the problem for Kentucky is their 2 leading scorers, Brea and Owe, have combined for 5 points in this first half.
Owe 0 for 4 and Brea 1 for 4. And there is Otega Owe's brother, Adafe, who plays linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. His family making the trip here to Indianapolis.
Let me tell you something. Otega's got that football build himself.
Adafe, very good player for John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens.
Kentucky trying a zone. They've played zone this year 35 possessions. Trying one now. I don't blame Mark Pope for giving it a go. Now it goes man-to-man. So they show zone, then they match up man-to-man. Now they got Tennessee slowed up a little bit.
Meshack trying to hit the accelerator. Comes up short, right to Akpara.
They make a stop, got to get that rebound.
9th offensive rebound for Tennessee.
I mean, that's a load of rebounds for a half. Wide open.
Gainey, air ball. You don't see that very often with Jordan Gainey. 1:20 to go. Oweh on the attack with the left-hand finish.
That was a great finish, and they got to push the ball. Like, that was a semi-transition. The Tennessee defense wasn't really set. That's really how they need to attack, but you got to get a rebound in order to do that.
And Rick Barnes will call timeout with 1:04 to go in the first half. Oweh with his first field goal. Tennessee up 39-23. LG OLED Evo, the best TV in the game. A little spurt here from Kentucky. Could be a big deal for them to get a little bit of confidence going into the half after Tennessee has had their way.
Yeah, no doubt. If they can finish the half strong, they'll feel a little bit better and have a better idea what they need to do. I think right now, between the backboards and Tennessee's half-court defense, and the problem is they've had to set up against that defense the whole game. No transition. They want to run, but you got to get rebounds to run and stops.
And look, we talked about it right off the top. 24 threes for Kentucky in the first 2 games against Tennessee. They only have 2 tonight. Gainey knocks it down.
That was the easy. That's where you want to throw the ball, in the heart of the zone defense, right there. Kentucky made it a little bit too easy for them there.
Maybe a 2-for-1 here for the Wildcats. Oweh with the 3.
And that's a perfect 2-for-1. Now they're going to get the ball back with about 5 seconds to go, so they will have time enough, if they get a rebound, to get one last shot.
Third Kentucky triple, 41-26. Ziegler, off glass for 2.
You know, he's so shifty with the ball, stop and go, coming off those pick and rolls. He's one of the best in the country.
Final 5 seconds of the first half. Chandler for 3 at the horn. It's good. And maybe that'll give Kentucky a little bit of a boost going into the locker room.
Boy, give Chandler credit, because the shot clock's winding down. And really, you got to think Ziegler, and Ziegler put a little pressure on him. That wasn't an easy shot. He's a lot taller than Ziegler is, and he's able to make it.
Ziegler averages 13 points per game. He's got 13 in the first half, and he's with Evan.
Zakai, I know it's not the way you wanted to close out that first half, but 13 points for you. How have you been able to break down this Kentucky defense?
Just reading the defense and give them, taking what they're giving me.
Defensively, what do you guys have to continue to do in the second half?
Really just guard them. You know they really got some really good action. You know, as long as we stay solid and make them shoot the shots on our turns, we'll be fine.
Thanks.
No problem.
Kentucky did score 9 points in the final 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And at the half, it's 43-29. Coming up, we'll send you to AT&T at the half right after these messages. You are watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. And by Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Start of the second half coming up, and we'll take a look at the Buffalo Wild Wings first half stats. Kentucky getting out-rebounded by 9. Tennessee with 9 second chance points and +8 in the paint. And as we told you in our studio during halftime, the referees went back and took a point away from Kentucky. This originally called a 3 by Oweh, now correctly ruled a 2. So it's a 15-point game. And just a moment ago, Evan with Lamont Butler.
Lamont, you guys seem to find some momentum there in the final 2 minutes of that first half. What changed offensively?
I mean, we just went to go get some buckets. I think Ortega went, got downhill, got a layup, hit a 3, and then Collin just hit a big 3 at the end of the half. So good momentum going into the second half. We're going to keep it going.
How do you keep them out of the paint defensively here in the second half?
Really good. We just got to be connected. It's got to be a team effort. Can't just be one person doing it. Everybody has to be connected, and we'll get it done.
Lamont, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Evan, thank you. With Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalon. In the first half, Zakai Ziegler had 4 assists. Kentucky as a team had 3.
Well, you know, the problem for Kentucky is, number one, they're letting Tennessee get in the paint at will. That's why they're getting killed on the glass, because of the penetration that Tennessee is making into the paint area. So they've got to, and that's why Mark Pope went to that zone that in 35 games, he's only used for 35 possessions. So he was obviously desperate to keep Tennessee out of the lane. That would help their rebounding. Let's see what he does in the second half. Bottom line is, Tennessee got 43 points in that first half. They averaged 75 as a team.
Playing for a spot in the Elite Eight on Sunday here in Indianapolis against the winner of our nightcap between top-seeded Houston and Purdue. Underway in the second half.
And I think if their defense tightens up, they're going to be able to get out and transition more, which is what they want to do.
Amari Williams draws the double, able to get rid of it. Ziegler taps it right to Brea with the shot clock at 10. Williams had 9 points in the first half. Brea in the corner, shot clock winding down. Brea, baseline pass, they got to put one up. Williams way short, and what a message early by the Tennessee defense.
And Milicic that time did a tremendous job on Brea in the corner. He didn't go for his shot fake, and they worked on that in practice yesterday, Rick Barnes, about staying down on shot fakes.
Evan, what did Coach Pope have to say at the half?
Well, that wasn't the start he was looking for. The 9 offensive rebounds was the headline, and Laps all over it. He said, we're going to throw a bunch of different defenses at them here in the second half to try and keep them out of the paint and off the offensive glass. And that includes a better job defending the ball screens.
Yeah, and let's face it, the one thing that the metrics say is, that's a tough shot, good defense there. The metric says they don't defend pick and rolls or dribble handoffs well, and that's what Tennessee does, especially that pick and roll.
Amari Williams is fouled on the break. And that's the second on Zakai Ziegler. Milicic played less than 8 minutes in the first half. He had 2 fouls. He starts the second half on the floor.
Well, you know, Dubar did a good job, as did Cade Phillips, so they could get away with it.
Akpara defending Williams.
Ziegler just took that dribble handoff away.
And a push against Tennessee, and that's going to go on Felix Akpara. Rick Barnes' team started the year 14-0. They were number 1 for 5 weeks. They were the final undefeated team in the country. And entered tonight with 29 wins, trying to get back to the Elite Eight for the 2nd straight year. Brea with an air ball 3.
And that was a good play, but it was good defense by Okpara that time.
That one is turned over by Tennessee. Amari Williams brings the ball up the floor. He has drawn 4 fouls tonight, trying to find a cutting Butler with Milicic on Butler. Butler goes right back into the paint, shot fake, and 2.
Yeah, he saw Milicic was on him, figured he couldn't stay with him, and he couldn't.
Lamont Butler with 7 points, and the Kentucky fans, many of who made the 3-hour drive from Lexington, starting to make some noise here in Indianapolis. Ziegler nearly coughed it up, but Lanier is there. Shot clock at 8. Milicic drives, high off glass for 2.
And off of a loose ball there, they end up getting a layup.
Carr, quiet so far. That one rattles in. And that's his first field goal of the night. One of the things Mark Pope told us is that we got to find some tempo. Didn't really see a lot of tempo from Kentucky in the first half. They're playing a little more tempo here in the second.
Yeah, they have to. They don't want to play against this half-court defense the whole game.
Ziegler around Butler, and Butler with the rebound. Rick Barnes not happy. Brea.
Oh, he's going to call timeout if they score here.
Away for 3. And the rebound in the corner out of bounds. And it was last touched by Kentucky. And now a look from our AT&T Connected Cam.
Well, take a look here. You're going to see Zakai Ziegler. He makes a mistake. He's got his back to the ball, has no idea where the ball is. So when Carr cuts to the basket, he's going to not know where it is. Some late help from Milicic, but by that time it was too late.
Lap just looking around. This crowd is awesome.
Awesome. And these Kentucky people want to really start.
Feels like a Final Four at a football stadium with a huge crowd.
Great help by Williams that time. Not getting into the lane as easy, it looks like. Oh, there's one.
Shot clock down to 3. Gainey, step back, jumper, good! Big shot for Gainey. He's got 9 points off the bench.
11% of Tennessee's possessions go to under 4 seconds, and they're one of the best in the country at scoring on those, just like that.
And a whistle and a foul is called. And that's going to go against Kentucky. Amari Williams commits his second.
A lot of boxing out there.
And Kobe Brea, who had 23 points last time out against Illinois, is being held to 1 of 6 tonight for just 3 points.
My man who grew up 20 blocks from me.
Washingtonites.
I told him yesterday, that's kind of Inwood, but I'll let you say Washingtonites. Sorry.
You're the neighborhood police now.
Yeah. I get involved in everything.
Yeah. Well, he needs to get involved in the offense. They need him.
No doubt. One of the best shooters in the country, but he can't get a look.
Milicic right through the lane. Too easy for Tennessee.
I mean, the paint. I'm surprised that Mark Pope hasn't given that zone a shot yet. Might be time. They only played 35 possessions all year, but
Carr the jam. (49-34) with 15 and a half to play. Lanier from the outside. He's been a little quiet tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's crazy. They're doing it kind of without him.
He's 0 of 4 from deep. That's just 6 points. Carr for 3. That's short. Meshack the rebound, trying to save it from going out, but he was out of bounds. It's Kentucky basketball when we come back. Tempo is picked up. Tennessee still in front here in Indianapolis. Check out the House of Highlights fan cam during March Madness. Not much is guaranteed, but you can rely on AT&T. Great setting here at Lucas Oil Stadium and a tremendous turnout for the first game of the night between Kentucky and Tennessee. And later on, we'll see Purdue against Houston, the #1 seed in the Midwest, and the longest way to go, Lap.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be a pro Purdue crowd, I think.
Going out on a limb, huh?
I know, that's a tough one.
Just an hour away by car compared to 1,000 miles away. That's coming up next on TBS.
And how about Kentucky has 6 points this half, all in the paint. So the job that's being done at the three-point line, I think that's the thing that Rick Barnes really emphasized.
Yeah, you nailed it. 12 points in the paint in the first half for Kentucky. Already 6 here in the second. A more concerted effort to go inside with 5 on the shot clock for Oweh. Oweh from the free throw line comes up short.
What great defense. He wanted to go further, but the help came and he couldn't.
And a foul is called. Oweh did not think he committed the foul, but he will be charged for his second.
That is his second foul. Team second foul in the half.
Each team with 2 fouls here in the second half. Gainey has looked good tonight. Milicic a deep 3 with the shot clock winding down. Not there, and Brea the rebound.
And Tennessee back in transition. But, you know, it's not like they can run it that fast without Lamont Butler in the game.
Brea driving on Okpara, who commits the foul. And for Okpara, that's his second. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. Ziegler comes back in along with Cade Phillips, and Okpara and Meshack head out.
It's amazing that both these teams have one point guard basically on the roster, because when Ziegler's out, it was like, you know, Meshack and Gainey, it was by committee bringing the ball up.
Kentucky just one field goal in the last 3.5 minutes. Butler trying to change that, finding Carr for the jam. And a great dime there by Lamont Butler.
Well, he got in the lane there, make a great pass.
Lanier from the free throw line. It's good. Chaz Lanier. First team all SEC and the SEC newcomer of the year.
Just running their offense so tight. I mean, you know, that was a foul line jumper, getting it in the lane. Got to keep them out on the perimeter a little bit. They haven't had to shoot a lot of threes.
Brea and a foul. Phillips called for that one.
Well, let's go back to that play. Lamont Butler with some really good dribble penetration. And you can see this developing now, that he's going to have a guy right there in Carr. Milicic comes over to help. He's dead. Here comes Carr to the rim for the dunk.
That was the 6th assist for Ziegler as Brea goes to the line for 2. He's only missed 3 free throws all year. Cheer on your favorite NCAA team with officially licensed fan gear. For the best selection of team apparel and accessories, head to shopncaasports.com.
Kobe Brea's had one of the most efficient years in college basketball this year. I mean, besides averaging 12 and shooting 44% from 3, he has 16 turnovers on the entire season.
You know, I never asked you this. His godfather is former St. John star Felipe Lopez. Is he on your list of guys that you failed in recruiting?
No, actually, Felipe committed early to. Why you bring that up?
Just wondering.
See, no, now you're being a wise guy. See, that's a whole different story. Now, I usually bring that stuff up, not you. No, Felipe Lopez committed to St. John's very early in his career. Right. Okay, so I didn't really recruit him.
Okay, fair enough. Just wanted to make sure we had to add him to the list as Gainey adds to his point total. He's got 11 points for Tennessee. Second chance points. Now 15-4 in favor of the Vols as Brea misses inside and the rebound to Milicic.
And that was a hard shot. I mean, he tried to, he got in the lane, but it was not smooth.
Kentucky has not been able to chip away at this Tennessee lead.
Can't stop. Oh, good move, good play there.
The steal and the finish by Owe.
If Evan interviewed Rick Barnes now, what do you think he'd talk about?
I wouldn't suggest doing that.
No.
Here come the Kentucky fans again.
Well, let's see if they can stop him on this occasion here, because that's what's happened. When they do have a nice thing happen, haven't been able to stop Tennessee. Good defense by Garrison there, denying that high post to Phillips.
Shot clock at 5. Gainey trying to dance through traffic. Over to Ziegler, puts up a deep 3. And Lanier is there to clean it up. A backbreaker for Kentucky.
That's like the story of the game. They played really good defense that possession, but you got to finish it off. Defense is no good unless you get a defensive rebound.
11 offensive rebounds for Tennessee, but Garrison will have a chance at 3, and a fist pump from Mark Pope. Kentucky trying to chip away at Tennessee's lead.
Well, there was good defense on this possession here, but you've got to get that rebound. Owe there, nowhere to be found. And then Lamont Butler getting in the lane, and Garrison with the finish.
Lapis, Evan Washburn, take it away, y'all.
All right, Ernie, so good to hear from you. The winner of that one will see either Auburn or Michigan in Sunday's Elite Eight on CBS. Here in Indianapolis, a chance for a three-point play for Kentucky as the Wildcats are battling with their rival, the Volunteers of Tennessee.
And you know, Andrew, this is not a fluke what Tennessee's doing on the backboard. This is how they beat UCLA last week. 36-26 on the backboards against them. They are one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. So that has to be a big key to your plan, is to keep them off the glass. Got to put a body on somebody.
Garrison makes the free throws. We check in with Evan.
Guys, in that last Tennessee huddle, you could sense the leadership and experience this roster has in Jemai Mashak and Zakai Ziegler. They sense that this 4-minute stretch is their opportunity to put Kentucky away. And again, you have to remember, Kentucky, brand new roster, completely from scratch. Ziegler, Mashak, they were here in the Sweet 16 Elite Eight a year ago. They've had that in the back of their mind for the last 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that experience helps. Now, Kentucky's an experienced team, but don't have a lot of continuity in minutes. Tennessee has some continuity in their minutes from last year.
Lanier on the drive and a foul. They do not count the bucket. Foul's on Owe.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see here again the dribble penetration. Just they have not been able to stop it.
That's the third foul on Owe with 10:55 to play.
And I guess Mark Pope, they used that zone for 3 possessions at the end of the first half. Doesn't want to go back to it.
A look at the foul trouble for both teams. Ziegler with 5 to shoot. Over to Lanier. Deep three. It's good from downtown.
That was deep. And contested with the shot clock winding down. But I said they're one of the best teams in the country scoring with under 4 seconds to go because they used to be in that position. They play slow and methodically, and they're under 4 a lot.
That was his first 3 of the night. What a dish by Butler. Almanor to Williams for 2.
Kentucky's got to get this thing under 10. Get it under 10. Now there's a little bit different heat on Tennessee.
Williams in double figures with 11
Good
points. Cut. That one won't go, and Williams the rebound.
Boy, Mashak, he picked up Bray at the logo so that he wouldn't shoot that 3 in transition.
Out of contact, out of bounds, no call. It's Tennessee basketball.
Yeah, I thought that was a definite hand check there. You're going to see that was a heck of a shot by Chaz Lanier there.
Peyton Manning enjoying that one from Lanier. As Mashak heads out. When you look at Kentucky in their first 2 NCAA tournament games, they only trailed for a total of 54 seconds. The fewest of any Sweet 16 team. But here tonight, they've only led for 32 seconds. They've been behind this entire night.
You know, both teams are motivated, obviously, to go to an Elite 8. But the team that lost twice is always a little bit more motivated. That's just human nature. And there again, in the lane.
15 for Chaz Lanier. $15-point game. Butler cuts it down to 12.
You can't just trade baskets. That's the problem now. You got to get 3-4 stops in a row to really get this lead down.
That was the first 3 of the half for Kentucky. That one, no. But Okpara with the follow. Another offensive rebound, the 12th, and now a steal. Ziegler, 3!
They got to call timeout.
Bang, bang for the Volunteers. We are back with a look at our game summary. You see the offensive rebounds for Tennessee. And how about that last sequence? Butler cutting it down to 12, and then Tennessee with 5 points in 5 seconds.
Yeah, again, an offensive rebound there because they got into the lane. And then what they do best, or what they do very well, cause a turnover there. And Ziegler's feeling it, just pulls it from 3. You know, the bottom line is, Andrew, is Tennessee's got 65 points with 8.5 minutes to go, and they average 75 per game. So Kentucky's defense has not been up to it in this game, and that's hurt them on the offensive end also.
It was a Kentucky timeout. They have 2 remaining with 8:20 to go. Oweh, great defense. Trying to spin on Gainey. Oweh, too strong. Gainey the rebound.
You know how good that was defensively? I mean, that was Gainey big-time defense there.
Gainey and Oweh again, and Gainey is fouled, and Carr does not agree, but he's called for the foul with 7:49 to go. A head scratcher for Mark Pope tonight. Kentucky down big. Here in Indianapolis, getting set for the nightcap as you see LJ Cryer and Houston against Braden Smith and Purdue in the building. Approximately a 10:09 Eastern time start here on TBS. Meanwhile, just a moment ago over on CBS, Michigan State beat Ole Miss. So the Spartans are moving on to the Elite Eight.
I'm telling you, Andrew, the last Big Ten team to win the championship was them in 2000. They could do it again. This team has 10 guys that play as one. And I'm not usually a fan of playing that many guys, but they don't care who plays, who doesn't play. They kill you on the glass. They run fast breaks better than anybody in the country. Tom Izzo may sneak in and get the Big Ten there first in 25 years.
Quarter century. They will play either Michigan or Auburn in Sunday's Elite Eight. Gainey at the free throw line, and he has been a big spark off the bench tonight. The White Lotus welcomes you to Thailand. Don't miss the new season of the Emmy Award-winning HBO original series, streaming Sundays at 9 p.m. on Max. Gainey 1 out of 2. He's got 12 points tonight. Kentucky has only led for 32 seconds. It's been all Tennessee in this one.
I mean, it's like they're everywhere. 5 guys on a string.
Butler penetrating and scoring.
Great move. That time he took Opara to the basket. Got a reversal and got a layup.
Butler has a dozen. It's a 16-point game. Tennessee led by 19 at the half.
He's the only guy, Lamont Butler. They hear the zone. Trying the zone now with 7 minutes to go.
Chaz Lanier at the scorer's table, set the check in for Tennessee. Gainey, not this time. Okpara cleans it up, but misses the jam, and he stepped out of bounds. It's Kentucky basketball.
You know, I think playing a zone is a good idea, but the one thing about a zone, it's harder to rebound out of a zone because you're in an area. Opara should have finished that one, obviously, but if they're going to play zone, you got to rebound.
That was his 7th offensive rebound of the night, which ties a career high. 13 offensive rebounds for Tennessee on the evening. And Butler turns it over. 9th Kentucky turnover to just 5 for the Volunteers.
Yeah, and that was unforced. It wasn't like Ziegler was all over him that time. Mark Pope trying whatever he can. You know, like I said before, Andrew, when you lose twice in the same season, you're a little more determined. It's just human nature to be like that.
Ziegler, and now Dubar. Ziegler gets it back and misses the lay-in. Butler trying to use some tempo the other way, but now waiting for his teammates with 6.5 to go.
Good job transition defense by Tennessee.
Amari Williams with only 2 points here in the second half finds a cutting Carr.
That was a really good pass. Amari Williams had a smaller guy on him, but saw Carr completely open.
Ziegler with Butler all over him. They go to the ground and a tie-up. It's the first tie-up of the night. The possession arrow favors Tennessee.
Now you're going to see why Amari Williams is such a good passer here. He's got Dubar on him, who's smaller, but he finds Carr cutting to the basket.
Tennessee calls timeout with 6:01 to go in Indianapolis. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining as they play for a spot in the Elite Eight on Sunday. Our producer, Jonathan Siegel, director, Andy Goldberg, with Evan Washburn, Steve Lapis, our entire crew. I'm Andrew Catalan. Tennessee was granted a timeout before the tie-up. So when Butler and Ziegler were on the floor, we thought it was a tie-up, but they gave Rick Barnes the timeout.
I thought it was a tie-up, and they had the possession arrow, but now they save a timeout. I mean, they burnt the timeout, but keep the possession arrow.
Keep the arrow. It's still in Tennessee's favor. Inside 6 to play. Gainey with the shot clock at 3. Gainey is fouled on the shot with the shot clock winding down. Let's go back to the battle between Butler and Ziegler right here. Ziegler on the ground.
I guess he said it. The truth is, it would have been better for him to get tied up. They still had the ball, and they would have had a timeout left.
Yep. So Jordan Gainey is back at the free throw line.
Now, a lot of times the kids don't know what the arrow is doing, but at the end of the game, it's important for a coach to tell guys that, because you could save a timeout in that situation if you have the arrow. Probably not a big deal right now.
Gainey has been an X factor for Tennessee this year. When he scores at least 9 points in a game, the Volunteers are 21-2. And tonight, Gainey has 14. The Tennessee bench outscoring Kentucky 21-6 tonight. Butler for 3. It's good.
Usually Tennessee likes to kill those handoffs. That time they weren't able to. Butler got behind, got an open 3, and made it.
His third 3 of the night. Still a 13-point game. The last time it was a single-digit deficit for Kentucky. There was 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Great curl by Gainey.
Ziegler fakes the 3. And we'll pull it back out with Gainey now trying to explode in, and he does.
I mean, that's just too easy. And Mark Pope, I think, realizes that was too easy. And he's got Noah coming in the game.
Carr, hook shot, not there. Akpara, another rebound, and Williams and Gainey tangled up underneath the basket.
They're going to look at it.
And they're going to take a look at this one.
Everybody should walk away.
Heated rivals, and we've had a few chippy plays tonight.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Looks like they're both at fault there. Let's see.
Meanwhile, Zakai Ziegler walking to the bench, and he's firing up the Tennessee fans. And the officials will go and take a look at this one with 4:43 to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if they came away with a double dead ball technical. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
The previous action is under review.
All right, so time is stopped, and we'll go back to New York and check in with Gene Steratore. What do you see here, Gene?
You know, I've watched this activity with Amari Williams a couple times when he's getting boxed out by a smaller player throughout the game. This one seems similar to the ones that I've seen previously in this. To me, fellas, I don't know that it rises completely to the level of an F1 on either one, but I just listened to what Coach Lapp said here. I can tell you with that little hook and grab on the back with the Tennessee player and then Amari Williams kind of finishing him, I wouldn't be surprised if they offset or went and called double F1s if they wanted to go that route. Both actions seem to be a little unnecessary and somewhat excessive from either one. I don't see one like being worse than the other, though. So that's kind of what I take on when I'm looking at this one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I saw there, that they kind of went at each other there, and I think that'd be the right thing to do, and it really wouldn't cost anything in the game. They'd be offsetting, but we'll see. I think the first was a common foul on it, but they can't come back with a, did they call the common foul on? They did call a common foul on Amari Williams. Well, they can't come back with one.
Veteran crew here. Doug Shows, Brian Dorsey, and Lamar Simpson.
They're going to take a look again. Thought they had made up their minds. Great crew here.
Double F1. Lamar Simpson walking over to our table here and telling us. So a flagrant one on each player for the not a skirmish, for the action.
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
After further review, we have a double flagrant 1 foul on 22 blue and white 11. They offset, therefore we'll put the ball in after the made bucket. It'll be Tennessee's ball on the baseline.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. It was, and if the ball had gone, if the ball was dead, it would have been a double dead ball technical, but because the ball was still alive, it was a double F1. But Gene and I agreed again.
I know. It's an incredible run the two of you are on.
Look where we're hitting now.
I know I keep bringing it up.
You know what, Andrew, we can just extend this for another month or two. With Coach Lapp and I on a roll like this, I might need a golfing partner come like April or end of May or something. I'm kind of enjoying this. I think the other thing, without the made basket, I think Doug Shows did misspeak there. If Tennessee had clear possession of that basketball at that point, they would give the ball to Tennessee. If it were loose, whenever they made that distinction, they'd go to the AP arrow. I think he said good bucket, but I don't think that basket went in.
Oh, yes.
All right, Gene, thank you. And if you do play golf with Lapp, don't trust that handicap, all right? That foul on Amari Williams is his 4th with 4.5 to go, a 15-point Tennessee lead.
I don't know if I would expect Gene to trust the coach anyway.
Probably not. Ziegler, and he is fouled. Driving. What a game tonight for Zakai Ziegler. 16 points, 8 assists, and just 1 turnover.
If you're looking for a story of the game, Kentucky has struggled all year by the metrics in guarding pick and roll and dribble handoff, and they have not been able to contain this kid off the dribble with the pick and roll or the dribble handoff the entire game. That has been the story, and that's led to the rebounds, and it's led to them not getting out in transition, and it just multiplied from there. Couldn't stop him.
Does not want his career to end as he knocks in the first free throw. Jemai Meshack returns. Well, there's 4 finalists for Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Ryan Kalkbrenner of Creighton, Joseph Tugler of Houston, who we'll see coming up, and then these 2 guys on Tennessee, Ziegler and Meshack.
I think that says something about what kind of defensive team this is, and they have showed it tonight. But they've also played well on the offensive end, also shooting 50% for the game.
Williams misses the dunk. He has struggled dunking the basketball this year, and he's slow to get up. Gets the ball back here with the shot clock at 8.
You got to cut when this guy's got the ball because he's looking.
Williams is fouled with the shot clock about to expire and 3:55 on the clock. Our final media timeout. Tennessee trying to get back to the Elite 8. It would be their 2nd straight appearance in the Elite 8 and the first time they would have done that in school history. Now it's time for the Capital One rewarding performance. Tennessee with 13 offensive rebounds, 19-4 in second chance points, and that's been a big part of this huge lead.
A huge story in the game. I mean, Tennessee has shot 50% for the game, but all those second chance points are layups. So, I mean, they have not gotten the job done on the defensive glass, Kentucky. And as we said, what led to all those rebounds was them living in the paint, Tennessee.
Great balance for Tennessee. 3 players with at least 15 points. As Williams hits the first free throw. Okpara has 8 points to go along with 11 rebounds for Tennessee.
And the other thing is, think about this, Andrew. Kentucky has only taken 14 threes in this game. That's it. So give Tennessee credit that not only did they stop them from three, they stopped them from taking threes.
Now all you got to do is look at the stat line of Kobe Brea. 5 points, 1 of 7 shooting. Lanier, pretty.
Well, let's face it, if you're this good defensively like Tennessee is, you take a lot of pride in doing that. And Kentucky torched them in the 2 games they played during the season. So they came out here and they were going to make sure that that didn't happen again.
Williams down low, muscling his way around Okpara for 2.
Good strong move. Okpara got one in the mouth there.
Yeah, Williams now has 14 points.
Now there's a pressure for Kentucky.
Tennessee breaks it with Lanier, bringing it across. Time winding down on this Kentucky season. And what a year it was for Mark Pope. In his first year back at his alma mater, taking over for John Calipari, leading Kentucky to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 6 years.
And with 9 new players, not a point back from last year. So he put this whole thing together starting last June. They had a really good year.
Out of bounds, it's Tennessee ball.
He's a terrific coach. Today was just one of those days. Just wasn't happening.
Williams comes out, and Brandon Garrison back in the game.
And this Zakai Ziegler really controlled the whole game, which is what he does. And Mark Pope not fouling.
Chandler got a hand on that one, out of bounds with the shot clock at 10. Chandler is going to be a big part of the future at Kentucky. Just a freshman. Committed to Pope when he was at BYU and then did a 2-year mission. Did not play basketball for 2 years. Took him a while to get back in the swing of things here in his freshman year, but he's been playing his best basketball of late. And a foul is called on Garrison with 2:01 to go.
Chandler was a top 30 player coming out of high school. I mean, they have really high hopes for him.
Before the NCAA tournament, Chandler was averaging 2.4 points per game. This week in the NCAA tournament, he's averaged 7.5.
Yeah, at 15 points in their 2 games.
Jemai Meshack at the free throw line.
With this Tennessee team, physical, tough. You're going to have to really work for everything you get against them, and you better keep them off the glass.
Away with the finish. And Mark Pope will call timeout. With 1:51 to go, Kentucky has 1 timeout remaining here in Indianapolis. Approximately 10:20 start Eastern time for Houston and Purdue. That's coming up next. There's Braden Smith, the Purdue point guard, taking a look up at the screen. could be a rematch of the Elite Eight a year ago when Purdue beat Tennessee. That game was in Detroit. Or a storyline of Tennessee against Houston if it's the Cougars that beat Purdue, where you'd have two of the best defenses in the country and two tremendous friends going head-to-head in Rick Barnes and Kelvin Sampson.
Clones would be going at it, these two teams. Pretty close to being clones.
Milicic. That's the 10th assist for Ziegler, so a double-double for Zakai. 18 points and 10 assists.
You want to get in a stance? Watch Meshack in a stance.
Owe connects, 76-62. 13 for Ortega Owe tonight, and then he commits the foul, which is his fourth. Rick Barnes has Tennessee on the verge of returning to the Elite Eight, and then the storyline for Tennessee would be, can they finally get to a Final Four? They have never made a Final Four in program history.
When I think of that, it's like I don't believe it. You know what I mean? They've had such a good basketball program for years, going back to my days of the Ernie and Bernie show, Ernie Grunfeld and Bernard King. Back in the 70s, but it's amazing that they have never been to the Final Four. Only two Elite Eights, I believe, in their history.
This would be the third. Well, the last time the four schools in Indianapolis made the Final Four, Kentucky in 2015, Houston here in 2021, Purdue last year, and Tennessee still waiting, hoping to change that picture. Meshack makes them both. Akpara comes back in. You look back at one of the turning points here in the second half, Lap. Lamont Butler hit a three. Kentucky was down by 12, and Tennessee scored 5 points in 5 seconds, and that was it.
That was the game right there. That three by Ziegler, that was it. They turned it over.
Butler hits the three, and Mark Pope will use his final timeout. With 1:05 to go, a 13-point game on TBS. Well, this was one of the big storylines coming in, the three-point shooting of Kentucky in the first two meetings against Tennessee. Not the story tonight. Just 6 threes for the Wildcats. They average 85 points a game. They've been held to 65 with 1:05 to play.
And the truth is, they take 28 attempts a game. They've only been able to attempt half of that. So, I mean, give Tennessee credit. You know, the best way to stop a team that shoots threes, don't let them get threes. You don't want them to take 25 and miss, because, I mean, you'd like that, but chances are they take 25, they're not going to miss as many. So you want to make it so they can't. They ran them off the line the entire game.
Well, the board is in the locker room as Tennessee is hoping to advance themselves to the Elite Eight.
If I were Rick Barnes, I would get Ziegler out of the game, because that's, you know, you don't want anything crazy to happen, especially to him.
It's hard to take that guy off the court. He would fight it.
There's a minute to go.
And Kentucky not fouling. Milicic. His pass is knocked away by Butler. Rick Barnes not happy with Milicic. As we told you, he was not happy with him in practice yesterday either.
Coach, you're going to win the game. Relax.
Brea. And Ziegler gets it back. Lanier joining him. And Milicic turns it over again. And Rick Barnes. Meshack intercepts it. I think the smart move now is just hold the ball.
That's all.
Yeah, let's just do that. Tennessee fans rise. What a great first year for Mark Pope, but it ends in the Sweet 16. The Volunteers are back in the Elite Eight.
Too tough, too determined, and too good really on both ends of the floor.
First time the Volunteers have made back-to-back appearances in the Elite Eight. They have 3 players with at least 15 points, led by Ziegler's 18, to go along with 10 assists. We update the bracket in the Midwest, and Tennessee advances to Sunday's Midwest Regional Final here in Indianapolis. They'll see either Houston or Purdue. That game coming up at 10:30 Eastern Time on TBS. Jordan Caney with a big contribution off the bench. He finishes with 16 points. As Tennessee, in its first ever meeting in the tournament against rival Kentucky, comes away victorious. And Evans with Chaz Lanier.
Chaz, congratulations on the win. What was the biggest difference in this game in comparison to the previous 2 that you lost to Kentucky?
I mean, I just say our preparation. The coaches did a great job at preparing us, and then our guys, we followed the scouting report the whole 40 minutes.
How much does that bloody lip kind of embody what you guys brought to this game?
I mean, it's just toughness. We're a tough team, and that's what we hang our hat on every night for 40 minutes, so I'm proud of my guys.
Speaking of toughness, Zakai, you've been leading this team all season long. What was your message and mindset to the group as you took the floor tonight?
Well, it was really what Jamal said. You know, we ain't played Tennessee basketball the first 2 times we've seen them, and tonight we went out there and played Tennessee basketball. Simple as that.
What do you guys bring into the Elite Eight on Sunday?
Toughness, grit, and you know we're going to play Tennessee basketball. We're going to be us, baby.
Congratulations. Enjoy, fellas.
Appreciate it. Go forward.
All smiles, the Tennessee Volunteers are moving on. Tune into CBS right now for Michigan against Auburn. Coming up next on TBS, it's Purdue taking on Houston. We'll send you to our studio for Capital One Tournament Central right after these messages.